People tend to think that if their sales page is not converting, it's not getting people booked into their calendar, they automatically assume it's their video. They might assume it's their headline. They might assume it's their copywriting. I'm here to tell you right now that is just a tiny piece of the pie. The biggest one in it is actually how you structure your sales page, because this is something I've been testing out for many, many years. If you don't know who I am, my name is Palmer Joseph. I've been in this space for nearly a decade now. Absolutely love what I'm doing. And if you want to check out my other videos on this channel to get a better understanding of what I've actually achieved during that time, take a moment to go through that after this video. But that being said, you just have to understand who your client avatar is. Without that deep understanding of what they want or what they need, it's all going to fall apart. So I'm going to show you in this video that it actually just boils down into like one or two words. It's kind of like micro commitments, because you have to look at it this way. Visitors, strangers, cold traffic, whatever you want to call them, they come into your page, you already have these preconceived notions, preconceived beliefs in their mind, and they'll judge your page in a matter of seconds. So what you want to do there is kind of remove it, or at least alleviate that as much as possible, and I'll show you exactly in this video how you can do that. And we're not talking about like long videos. We're not talking about like fancy funnels where you have like all these animations that fly back and forth. It can just be really plain Jane. It can be simple as hell, and you'll get better results from that rather than having someone come in like graphic designers, web designers, and spending like tons of money to make that all happen for you, because this just happens to come down into you understanding what it is that your customers want. So again, this is something I've been using for myself and many clients, and this is applicable to whatever it is that you're trying to do. So with that being said, the best way for me to actually show you how this actually comes together is to jump into my computer. So let's get straight into that. All right, guys, so I'm going to use my own VSL page. VSL stands for Video Sales Letter, and I'm going to use that example here today because I don't have the approval to use anyone else's. I don't want to be that kind of scumbag to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take someone else's and just kind of critique it. But hey, if you are someone that wants me to go through their page or their funnel or whatever the case is, and you want me to do it for free, I'm completely down with that. All you got to do is scroll into the description down below, click that link, book call with me. Again, I'm just doing this to help you out. I'm doing completely for free. I don't want to spend hours with you, but I just want to give you some pointers, point you the right direction, so at least you can make some money and be on the right track. So if that's what you want to do, jump right in. Or if you just want me to do it online, then comment your site into the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to do that for you, as long as you're okay with me doing that. And I'll assume that you are, because hell, you already put your website in. Needless to say, I just want to show you what's going on here. This is my page. Extremely simple, right? So this is what it looks like. I just scroll down. There's nothing much to it, okay? Most people have this massively long page, and I'm telling you right now, the less is better. It's always going to be better, because you don't want to overwhelm people, because you have to understand it this way. What we're trying to do is we're trying to remove the risks, because we're not here to convince people. Because understand, like at the very beginning of the video, I said that people already have like their own preconceived ideas, preconceived notions in their head as to what they're assuming that you're going to present in your page, and they're looking for all these little red flags. But again, at the same time, what we're trying to do is we're trying to remove it or alleviate it as much as possible. So what are we going to try? What I want you to understand right now is that even though this is always in testing mode, I'm always trying to like optimize. I'm trying to get it better and improve each and every single time. It just comes down to a lot of testing. And if you're okay with that, which you should be, because every business has to test in order for it to optimize, your very first or second version of it is not going to be perfect. And that's okay. You got to accept that for what it is, but over time, you get better and better at it. And you want to look at the analytics, you want to track it just to see what's going on. And once you find something that works, fantastic, because that is what you're trying to do. But also at the same time, you got to be pretty reactive to it. So you do this a little bits of portions at a time. So what I mean by that is, if you think your VSL page is not performing or it's not getting any calls onto your calendar, you don't want to just change the whole thing. What I want to recommend you doing is just change one thing at a time. Maybe you want to change up your headline, see how that works. Change your video a little bit, see how that works. Always come back to the numbers, because if you do all of them at the same time and something worked, you don't know what exactly worked. And the same thing goes the other way around. If something just falls apart, you don't know what caused it. So you just want to do one thing at a time, pick that out at a time, depending on how much traffic you get. If you get a massive amount, maybe you can just look at your data for like maybe a couple days. But if you have like a very little amount, maybe like a couple weeks. So just gotta be patient with it. This is not like a race, it's a marathon. And at the end of the day, you'll get better in every single time that you do. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. I just want to jump in here really quick. Just to let you know that if you're enjoying the content so far, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, because that lets me know I'm doing a good enough job, that I'll keep on making this content for you guys on a constant basis to help you start, grow, and scale your own online education business to whatever number it is that you want. because I've been doing this for many years now. As you can see in the background over there, I have been verified and confirmed to have grown an online business from $0 all the way up past 8 figures. And I want to help you guys do the exact same thing as soon as possible. So if you are someone that actually wants help in your own online business, all you got to do is scroll down below, go into the description. There's a link in there. Click it, book a call with me. I'm more than happy to help you out. I'll point you in the right direction, maybe give you some pointers. No pitch, no sale. Just want to make sure you guys crush it. With that being said, let's get straight back into the video. So let's get back into it. How I have this structured is very simple. Once people land, once visitors or prospects land to a page, I basically want to have them see the VSL video. I'm not going to go into the VSL video in depth in this video right here because it's going to be like extremely long. There's lots of little mindset hacks, little nuances that you're going to be aware of. But if you do want me to go over that, then tell me in the comments down below. I'll make an entire video about it. It might be excessively long, but there's lots of things that make this work. So that said, the VSL is going to be right here. And once they scroll down below that, it's going to be book a call. So this really depends on how you actually want to structure your video. So what I mean by that is if you are someone that's already had like if you already have an audience, which most of you probably don't, if you have a massive audience, that's great. You can probably just have them go straight to a call. They'll probably book a call and they already know who you are because you're already warmed up. But if you are someone that's running ads, and I highly recommend that if you are running ads to have this structured in a different way. If you want to learn more about what I'm talking about in terms of structuring and how you can actually set up your funnel pages in a certain order, I'll put a link, I'll put a card in the top right corner there that you can check out because there have been a lot of changes over the last few years and I want to help you understand how you can actually put that together. But again, top right corner for the card, you'll understand how that changes and how you can actually order the pages around to make it more beneficial to you. But if I come back to the fact that if you are running ads, then obviously you don't want to book a call right away. So what happens here is that I have set this up in a way, I've spent a lot of time back and forth trying to get this right. Now, I'm not going to press it because this will screw up my analytics. But if I press this video, basically it'll start playing and you can't unpause it. And that's kind of like what you want to do. Because you don't want them to come back to it and just scrub back and forth because that'll kind of just remove, or that kind of defeats the whole purpose of them actually understanding what it is that you provide in terms of a product or service. So you want them to go through the entire video. So if you're running ads, what I highly recommend that you do is that you can put a timer here before the covering up the button. So when you make your first call to action, make sure you time the timer correctly. And when you make the first call to action, then you can have the timer disappear and then the button shows up where they can actually book a call. Because the reason for that is you want the prospect or the visitor to actually get to a certain point for them to understand what it is you're providing. Because if you have the button right at the very beginning, you will get a lot of people that come onto the call, book a time with you. They have no idea what it is you provide. You'll be wasting a bunch of time with them. And you don't want to just waste a bunch of ad spend, especially if it comes to your own time and your own energy. So please, if you are running ads, make sure you have a timer. I won't go into that in this separate video, but I hope that makes sense to you. So needless to say, let's get back into it. I have this structured in a way where you get a video. That's the very first thing that people see, the button. I'm going to pull out some pain points because you have to understand people buy off of emotion and pain. Maybe it's past pain or future pain. You have to just understand how to pull that out of them in a very logical sense. And it's kind of done through a little tiny bit of copywriting. So we're not here trying to straight sell them. Because I find with a lot of clients, even with new ones and even with experienced ones, what they do with the copywriting is that they're just going straight for the sale. And that's the worst thing you can do. So please understand, we're just here to bring out the pain, bring out the emotions. If you want to check out this VSL page out for yourself, I'll put the link in the description as well. You can check it out. Basically get a better understanding. But again, like I said, it all comes down to testing. After that, I got another call to action and I explain what it is that they actually get if they actually come on board and learn a little bit more what I present them, because I set up a bunch of done-for-you systems and they can just plug in right away and basically like 90% of the work is done. All they gotta do is make these tiny little adjustments to make it fit their brand, fit their offer, and that's good to go. And it's the same ones that I give to my clients that have got them results, along with what I'm using here today. So after that, it's about my results. So I'm sure not all of you guys have the same kind of results as I have because I've been doing this for many, many years. I have grown a business from literally $0 up past 8 figures, as this little award has shown you right there. Not here to brag, just here to tell you, it's like, look, I've been doing this for many, many years now, and it's a little bit about myself to make myself more humanized. So the biggest point to your VSL page is to qualify them and warm up people, okay? The whole thing behind this, after you show your results, and hopefully you do, you should have some results. I'm not here to tell you to get into selling some sort of, or get into a niche that you have no idea about, because I do see this a lot with like people getting into like the AI space, because it's like AI is the next biggest thing. So I'm just gonna jump in and try to cash in on this big hype, which is AI, and they have no idea what they're doing. It's just the worst thing you can do. So please choose something that you actually have experience in, something that you actually know about, because that makes it easier for you in the long term. So please don't get into something just because it's trendy, especially if you don't know anything about it. You're just gonna burn yourself in the foot. That said, another call to action, and basically just testimonials. So I work with a lot of one-on-one clients, and these are just testimonials because we do back and forth through WhatsApp. And after that, it's just frequently asked questions, FAQs. And I actually buried a little secret in here. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about as I progress. But that's basically my entire page. Super simple, right? If I go into my builder, and I use Go High Level for this, because back then, many years ago when we first started out, I was using like about 7 or 8 different softwares all patched together with Zapier, and I was paying like just under $1,000 a month. It worked, don't get me wrong, but it was just a big like money pit. Now I can do all the same things with Go High Level and for like a fraction of price, and it just works. Anyways, this is what it is right now. As you can see, my headline. It's always going to be tested. Always going to look at the analytics. Always going to see what the data shows and make little tweaks here and there just to see where did it get better. If it got worse, then I put it back to what it was, then test something again. And right here is the video, because remember, this was a video and this is actually code. So I had to set up a code properly for this, where when people play it, it's not going to be paused again. And that's just how I like it. Some people might tell you otherwise, but whatever the case is, this is all structured the same way as I showed you a second ago. Okay. After that, come back to the very beginning. The biggest thing that I find a lot of people miss right now, and I see this with a lot of clients, is they forget to look into the mobile version. So if I click into mobile mode, this is completely different. So as you can see at the very beginning, in my desktop version, I have my little logo at the very top. Mobile, completely different, because you have to test this on your own mobile phone, whether or not you have like an Android or an iPhone. What you want to do is make sure that you have your video and your button visible in the fold. What I mean by in the fold is that you want to make sure that the button is seen right off the bat without them having to scroll down into the screen. Because if they do that, most people don't scroll down, and you lose your potential to actually get more people to book a call with you. And I see so many people do that right off the bat. So make sure, test it out, change all the little font sizes, make sure it's all visible, and always make sure that the video and the button, the first button, is visible right when they land on the screen. And if you are running a timer like I told you a second ago, if you're running ads, make sure also that when a button appears, it's also within the fold without people having to scroll down, because once that happens, you lose a lot of people. And the same thing happens. So everything's tweaked in a way that is beneficial to them and also to us at the same time. So if I come back to the desktop mode, I just have a bunch of testimonials. This is just a tiny bit amount of them, because I don't want to like just flood it, because people just be scrolling. I mean, you can if you want to, that probably looks better, but just starting out, I just want to make sure a lot of people understand how to structure this in a way that is beneficial to them. So in here, we have frequently asked questions. The best thing you do right now is understand what kind of questions your potential clients have and put that into like a section for frequently asked questions. And the biggest secret I have right now that's helped me a lot as well and get more, like make more money for myself too, is this question right here. I mean, you don't have to copy it word for word, but it's basically, I get a lot of people when I speak to them, they kind of want to just do it themselves, which makes perfect sense. So what I did here is I put this in here. Majority of clients do actually work with me one-on-one, but some of them do prefer to build it themselves. And if you do want to do that, that's perfectly fine. You can still get full access to programming systems, all the walkthroughs, and I'll guide you step by step. You can click right here, which is basically a do-it-yourself type of structure. They still get the program, they still get the system, they get all of that, and they just don't get one-on-one. And honestly, one-on-one is always best to get faster results, because it's more unique, it's more specific to each person. But again, that's not for everybody, depending on where they currently are, maybe their financial situation, maybe they're just more confident in what they want to do. So again, that's structured in a way that they can click into that if they actually want to learn more. And I should put that in the very bottom too. So if you are, some people are keen enough to see that, and it's actually helped bring in more sales without having to be in a call, and it's awesome. Now, The VSL page, what I want you to understand, if you can take anything out of this right now, and what I see a lot of people make a mistake in, is that they think the VSL, even though it stands for Video Sales Letter, the page itself, they hear the word sales, and they have this misconception right off the bat thinking that it has to be selling. But there is selling. It's just we're not selling a product. We're not selling a service. What we're here to do is sell the call. So the whole page is structured in a way to get them to micro commit to booking a call, spending some time, picking a date and a time to speak with you. That is their first micro commitment for them to actually book a call. The next commitment is for them to show up, and you do this through emails. I won't go through that in this video here today. But after that is the next commitment to get on a call with you and to actually buy, because that's the next commitment. It's all just ascensions as they progress. But what I was focused on today is a VSL. The VSL page is your sales page. The biggest point to your sales page is to actually get them to book a call. So you're selling the call, not the product. So always understand less is better. You just have a video, a button, results, testimonials, and frequently asked questions. The video itself, I'm not going to press it. The video itself is there to actually filter people out. So you have to set up your copywriting or your script for your video in a way where it actually filters people out, because you just want to make sure you don't get like people that are not actually your customer, because they'll be wasting a lot of time. And you just want to help segment out who this is for and who is not for. So you do that through all in the VSL itself. I'm talking about specifically the page itself. This is how you structure it. This is the best way you actually can get results for yourself, because what you want to do is just make sure that everything is lined up in a way to be more beneficial to them, where they actually feel like you are the solution to the problem. And that's kind of the whole thing. It's very, very simple, very straightforward, and that's how you structure a page. So if you found this helpful, take a moment, share with someone else that you think they might find some value in this, and that'll be very helpful for me. And if you want to see how everything has changed over the life of, like, I don't know, online business, then take a moment to watch the next video, and I'll explain that to you in more in depth. Again, I'll catch you in the next video.